Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. You know what? I just noticed. This, my appearance, and it fits right in with what I'm going to talk about today. I don't get sunburns. You can see I actually think I have a freaking sunburn. I can count on one hand seriously, 3 or 4 times in my life that I've actually felt a sunburn. I don't think I've ever gotten blisters. I don't peel. I get a little dust of skin if I get way too much sun, but I don't burn. Um, and yesterday, in April, what was yesterday? April 11th in Connecticut, I was out in the sun from 11 till not even 2, 3 hours yesterday. The UV rating here in Connecticut was only a 6 yesterday. And look at, I do not burn. I could be out, like I told you guys, I used to go to the beach all the time. And I could be out, in Florida. We were in Daytona Beach, 6, 7, 8 hours in July, and I did not look like this. Makes you wonder what's going on with the ozone layer. We're getting freaking fried down here. It's a real thing. This never happened before, especially in April. Swear to God. All right, it's got a name. There, I am so glad. I knew this was a real thing. I've talked about in other videos with my rolling coal video. About a week ago, I talked to a conservative I know, and I brought up climate change. It's called Petromasculinity. Petromasculinity. The big trucks, rolling coal, the diesel, how the fossil industry is tied into the conservative male masculinity identity. It's a real freaking thing. I knew it just in the last few days. When I go for my walk every single day, this is bizarre. I've been wanting to take a picture of this. I laugh every day when I go by. I go by the firehouse in this little city I live in, and I go by the police station. I go by the parking lots where they park their cars. I wanted to take a picture of this. I do not want anything personal being seen in these pictures. I don't want the police or the firemen to think that I'm singling out their vehicles. That's not what I'm doing. It's the make of the vehicles and how they're all the same. This is just, it's weird, man. I go by the fire station, and there's got to be 10 to 12 trucks on one side, or 10 to 12 vehicles on one side of the parking lot, and about 10 on the other. About over 20 vehicles. Every single one of them is a big Ram truck, Ford F-150, jacked up. They're all black, white. They're almost all black. Got to be black if you're a male conservative, because And I look at this and I'm like, if this doesn't talk about male insecurity, I don't know what does. I don't got nothing against firemen, but it sticks out. You go by and it's weird, man. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm trying to think of logical reasons. They probably got to haul equipment or whatever for fire, fire tending, fire prevention, whatever they do. So then I go by the police station. It's a fairly big police force. There's got to be about 50 cars in the parking lot. I was going to say almost every single one. Every single one is the same. A big, jacked up, making up for phallic shortcomings, black, white, big, jacked up truck. Police station, fire station, 2 masculine jobs with lots of conservatives. I've seen this every day. There's another, about a week ago, I was coming home, and every big truck I see like this is shiny. It doesn't look like they ever haul anything, because they claim it's for they're hauling their wood or their steel girders or whatever it is. These guys these conservative guys haul, and so I counted 19 trucks, and I counted how many of them I could see anything in the back. There might have been something below the rim that I couldn't see. Two out of 19. This was on a Saturday too. Some more people will be hauling stuff. These guys don't haul stuff. And it's in the gas prices are going up, and these guys are going out of their way to buy the biggest fuel guzzling machines they make. Petromasculinity. The article is down below. And it's a woman too that wrote this, Lisa Featherstone. I gotta wonder if she's a fellow Native American. Featherstone, I don't know if it's got to be Native American. All right, anyway, so she talks about how conservatives got all bent out of shape when she coined this term, Petromasculinity. And she checked out this dating site, OkCupid. Check out the article down below and you can read it for yourselves, because I don't do justice when I tell you guys the whole story, when I try to repeat an article. And she said a lot of the women on this dating site, for them, climate deniers were a deal breaker in the male partners they were looking for. I've told you guys before, I had on a fish, more fish in the sea or something like that, a dating site. I tried it out, and I put right on there, Trump supporters need not apply. Yeah, and I've just blocked a few of the women. I put that right out there. But anyway, so this woman talks about it. She made some good points in her argument about how, going back to the 50s, the time that these conservatives idolize, that fossil fuels was tied into the male identity. The male breadwinner, the suburbs, that people could commute from 10, 20 miles away into the cities, the way things used to be in when America was great, or according to these conservatives. They're made up remembrance of the Leave It to Beaver days. And she makes some good points on how these guys cling to when Trump ran for president in 2016. Trump loves coal. The coal miners in West Virginia, it's a conservative thing. When I talked to a conservative friend of mine about a week and a half ago, I started talking to him. I asked him about Truth Social, and it was a sore point for him. He said he didn't know what it was. And we moved on to climate change, and this guy just denied it. He said, no, it's not. The scientists don't know what they're talking about. So I said to him, oil is finite. There's only so much, like diamonds or gold. There's only so much of it in the earth. When we're pulling out millions of barrels every single day, how long do you think that's going to go on forever? And what's replacing it? And then he starts talking about fracking, and I'm telling him, I'm like, I don't know the chemical reactions that are going down, what's going on in the earth, but it doesn't sound like a good idea that you're pumping the earth full of this stuff and then pumping it back out. People talk about, I've seen videos where the water coming out of the faucet lights on fire, or people that have these tremors or earthquakes when they're near fracking. So he denies all this, and then he starts bringing up points about how he started. I don't know if this is has any basis in truth, but he started bringing up these points about how electric cars, electric batteries they damage the climate more due to some chemical in the battery and all this other stuff. I don't know. I think cobalt is in batteries, but I don't know the relationship. I don't know. I know that oil and coal are going to run out. I know that cheap energy is a good thing for the world and for the country. Air, geo heat, energy from the sea, where they use the actual waves of the ocean, the continual waves of the ocean to produce energy. Windmills, this guy, I don't know what it is with conservatives and windmills, but anyway, as I talked to this guy, and he made a point, he made this point. He said, well, what about in Texas when they had that blackout? So I'm like, he's walking right into my spider web now. And he says, the solar power units didn't even work. I said, yeah, they didn't work because they were in Texas. They didn't figure they were going to have snow, or they were too cheap, and they didn't buy the defroster units for the solar panels. That's why the solar panels didn't work. And this guy's telling me that solar panels don't work in Connecticut because we don't get enough sun. Yeah, right. And then, he starts getting into how there's no sun at night. That's not how these things work. That's not how it works at all. So anyway, I'd love to take some pictures and show you guys. I don't want the police or firemen to think that I'm picking up their vehicles. And then this other thing, look at in down below. I'm gonna have a YouTube video of rolling coal. I've talked about this before. This used to have in the little town that I lived in. Maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't think so though. In the little town I used to live in, there was Trump signs everywhere. It turned into a small blue-collar working Democrat town into this Trump haven. I'm glad that I moved into this city. It's so much friendlier here in the city where I live now. And on a weekly basis, I'd have these trucks going by me, blowing coal, rolling coal, blowing smoke. They would go. I would see them go by me, get about 10 feet in front of me, nail the gas. And when they rolling coal is when they modify a diesel engine to pump extra gas in there, which in turn blows out extra smoke. That's a very simplified version of it, but that's called rolling coal. Now, if you look at the video down below, there's this guy, and he's driving a big truck, and it says Prius repellent. So hilarious. And there's an actual video down below of him driving, looking back, and it looks like a Prius. Why these guys hate Priuses? You know, I drive a Honda Fit, and I love it, man. And he hits it, and they all laugh. You know, it's this sick manic laugh where they get this sick joy out of out of damaging the climate and smoking other people out. Like I said, this used to happen to me on my bike all the time. Conservatives don't like bike riders. I don't know if they think that all men should be working from a 9 to 5 specifically, and I shouldn't be riding a bike during that time. I don't know if it's because they don't exercise and they all have these big pot bellies, and thus they need the trucks to make up for the masculinity. And that's why they don't like it. That's why I get the smoke. I obey all the laws. I never go, I drive in the breakdown lane. I use my hand signals and everything. So there's no reason for anybody to get mad at me. And this used to happen to me constantly on a weekly basis, where these trucks would go by and smoke me out. And it still does once in a while, but nowhere near as much in this city. All right. I can see I'm running long. I had so much more to talk about. Petromasculinity. Check out the article down below and the YouTube video about rolling coal. I don't know what's wrong with these guys. Have a good Tuesday.